Good evening, Somers, and welcome to the Somers Town Board regular meeting, Thursday, December 12th. I'd like to call upon the Somers Police Department to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Present. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
I'll be.
Patty, roll call?
Councilman William G. Faulkner.
Here.
Councilman Richard G. Quincy.
Present.
Councilman Anthony J. Sirico.
Here.
Councilman Thomas A. Garrity Jr.
Here.
Supervisor Rick Morrissey.
Present. Thank you. Okay, our first order of business this evening is to open a public hearing on our,
Continue a public hearing.
well, our finance director's not, oh, here he is. I was going to go to BM a while.
Here he is.
sorry.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. He's here.
He's here.
Bob? Like to make a motion to open the public hearing, to continuance of our public hearing for the 2020 preliminary budget.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. If our finance director would please come down, Bob Kehoe. We do have some updates to the budget this evening. A number of things have occurred over the past couple of weeks. We heard from our highway department about necessary staff and trucks. And as many may know, the governor just recently signed legislation authorizing a $5,000 increase to the amount of money a retiree can earn. That was a long time coming and well-deserved, but it does have an impact on our budget, and our finance director will go over that with us. Thank you.
Okay, good evening. What you all have in front of you is the proposed changes to the budget that was in place since last week's changes that we had done. And the first is adding, as Rick just mentioned, $60,000 to the police personal services line to cover any additional time put in by the police officers for that increase in their the cap that they're allowed to earn in a year. We're adding $1,000 to the energy and environment line for the litter task force. So a net increase to appropriations will be $61,000. Offset to that, we'll be adding $53,000 to a revenue line for AIM funding. That had been eliminated from the state budget, but I think the workaround the state did was to pay the towns that had lost the funding out of sales tax that was paid to the county.
Yeah,
So-
Bob, if I might just go back to that $1,000 would be for the litter task force, not the
Right.
energy environment.
Well, it's the energy environment line. Litter task force is a subline within
Okay,
that.
it's a line
Yeah,
item
it's
for them.
within-
Okay, very
within
good.
that code.
What isn't the county using this new sales tax for? They're using it for everything.
Well, I think they've said that they're not going to have a tax increase for, I think, 2 years. What else, I can't say.
They're using it for salary. Well, anyway, that's a whole nother.
Yeah,
Never mind.
yeah. But so we're adding back $53,000 of AIM funding to revenues. And lastly, we're going to reduce our appropriated fund balance by $14,500. So our net addition to the levy is $22,500. And that will cause the tax levy increase to be 1.75%.
So it still covers the truck, it covers the increase into the police department payroll, and goes and stops at 1.75.
And
Yes.
most importantly, we're under our tax cap, state imposed.
Well under, yeah.
Well under.
Oh, yeah.
Well under,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I think that's.
Just want to be on the record with
No,
you.
the
that's
tax
good.
cap was 2.8% this year.
Okay.
So we're at 1.75, so we're well under.
I think that's great. I think, for years, we've been trying, as the chief knows and all the police know, we've been trying to get the governor to sign off on something that we all thought was pretty basic and made sense. And it's taken years and years to happen. So the fact that we can do it, $60,000 is a relatively small price to pay. We have a great police department here, and getting them out for even more hours is going to be helpful to the health and safety of the town, so that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's great.
I agree with Tom. I think just so everybody understands, it doesn't mean that there's a pay increase for police officers. It means that they can earn more. Because as long as I've been on the board, it's been 30,000 is the cap. It's been for every state employee once retired. So this means that they can earn more, and especially at the end of the year when the chief might be at the top and can't assign officers, or you got to cut here, hours here to hours there. This gives a little bit more leeway. Doesn't mean all the money's going to be used, but it's more leeway in assigning hours where police can earn more money. But it's not a pay increase, so no one should misunderstand.
True, true.
I'm great with all the changes.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Same here.
It's 1.75% levy above what my original budget was, but I share some of the same concerns as has been voiced. And I'm thrilled that the governor finally put pen to paper and did this for the retiree and their ability to make more money. All right, at this point, I'll open the, any other further comments on the budget?
I just want to say that, we agree with putting in the additional truck, but this is really, we need to get a capital plan from the highway department.
Yeah, we talked about that with Nick and Tommy, so that'll be something that'll be coming.
So this is not only a change, this is not only just an additional truck, we're actually changing the way we're going to conduct and operate business there.
Right.
So that's, it's important that we look at the entire proposal.
Okay.
Agreed.
So is there anyone here that has a comment or on our 2020 preliminary budget? Okay, seeing and hearing no one else has a comment on it, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All right, our next public hearing this evening is on the Emwalk Heights, Emwalk Shenorock, and Windsor Forum Water District proposed 2020 quarterly water charges. Okay, per memo from Adam Smith, Water Superintendent. Due to planned contractual labor and purchase water cost increases by the proposed water charge of 2020 are as published. I'll open up public comment on the proposed water charges.
Publishing and posting.
Yes, thank you. And Patty, if you could give us publishing and posting on the public hearing?
That was published in Somer's Record and posted on the Town Clerk's Bulletin Board on November 28th.
Thank you. Okay, is anyone here to comment on Hemlock Shenorock, Windsor Forms Water District rates? Okay, seeing no one, hearing no one, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Rick, does this information get sent out to them, or do we put it on the website, or how does that work?
Yeah, it goes in their water
bill?
bills and,
Okay.
yeah, it's on the site.
You want to adopt the water rates at this time?
Yes, I'll make a motion to adopt the water rates as proposed in Adam Smith, Superintendent of Water, memo of September 24th, 2019.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Okay, at this point in time, I'd like to switch the agenda around a little bit. Why don't you give us department reports?
Sure, I have reports from the Town Clerk, Building Inspector, Zoning Board of Appeals, Plumbing, Fire, Bureau of Fire Prevention, Parks and Recreation, Planning and Engineering, Tax Receiver, and Director of Finance.
Thank you. No, we're gonna go back to that, I wanna.
You want to do this first?
Yeah.
Okay, in this point in time, I'd like to call down our current highway superintendent, Tom Cheverini. If you could join us down here, Tom.
Who's that?
As we're all aware, Tom has decided to retire from service to the town of Somers. I have a proclamation here, which I'd like to read to you and present. So whereas the town of Somers is fortunate to employ wonderful and hardworking individuals, and whereas Tom Cheverini, a lifelong resident of Somers, began his 34-year career with the town of Somers Highway Department in July 1985 as a motor equipment operator, and then in February 1993 was promoted to road maintenance foreman, and he was also appointed deputy superintendent of highways. And whereas in January 1999, Tom was appointed as interim superintendent of highways, and then in 2000 was elected superintendent of highways, and has done an excellent job ever since. Appreciate that. Tom has battled many storms with his staff, all with the assistance of his vast training and equipment. He recommended for the purchase over the years with ultimate goal of allowing residents to travel safely. We have a stellar reputation in this town. We don't know how people get here in a storm or how they leave in a storm, but while they're in this town, those roads are very well maintained. Whereas Tom, who is well respected by his colleagues, will be greatly missed by all and is wished a wonderful and happy and healthy retirement. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Rick Morrissey, supervisor of the town of Somers, and the entire town board, do hereby congratulate Tom Cheverini and thank him for his 34 years of service, and hereby officially declare Saturday, December 14th, as Thomas Cheverini Day,
Better than Friday the 13th.
given under my hand and seal this 20th day of December. You didn't want tomorrow, did you? I didn't think so.
To see what I was gonna say. One thing I'd like to say though, is I couldn't do this myself. I'd like to thank all my men for all the years. It was teamwork.
Tommy, we worked with you, I've worked with you for like 12 years, and I've known you for even longer than that. You've done a phenomenal job. We're going to miss you. I've had the pleasure of running with you multiple times. You're always a gentleman. The people in the town love you. So I know we're going to see you on a truck, but from the day-to-day stuff, good luck and
Now another 5,000, right?
oh yeah, you're all set. So should we open?
The cabinet.
We're gonna wait for Nick. He just pulled in.
Oh, Nick's coming in.
Yeah.
While we're waiting for Nick, I just want to say, so I've learned a couple of things about Tom. One, I never knew what Brian was, but now I know what Brian does on the roads because of what you taught me. Two, as you know, one of my closest friends ever, who was a highway superintendent, when I took this job here, he told me, you knew your stuff and I should trust you. And I trusted him, so I trust you, and you've done wonderfully. And the third thing I know is that as really the dean of highway superintendents around the area, many call you, and I'm sure will continue to call you, even when you're not working as a highway guy, they'll continue to call you. If I were you, I think I'd start charging hourly. But I think that's a great thing when people start calling you for advice and what you've done. So you've done wonderfully, and it's been great to work with you.
Yeah,
Tell
Tom,
them about your ride home from the town board meeting.
Yeah, that ride was interesting, yes.
So I have a story to tell about a ride in snowplow. So it was 4 in the morning, whatever it is, Tom swings by, I jump in the truck, and we go up into Lincolndale, and he found the steepest hill and starts plowing down the hill. I held it together. Yes, see what was up. The other thing I want to just confirm, I've read that as a child, you attached a plow to your bicycle?
Yes, I did.
And you plowed your driveway.
And when I was 10 or 12 years old, shoveled. At 2 o'clock in the morning, if you were my customer, your driveway or your walkway got shoveled 4 or 5 times, just like your road got plowed. My father worked here, so I have, it was in my blood.
There you go. Born to be a highway guy.
So why don't we invite the rest of the town board down here so we can celebrate Tom?
Come on, Nick. Another man.
The new guy.
Born to be a highway guy.
Stand behind me and tower over me.
Yeah. Get all those tall guys out there.
Can you see me?
No. Stand up taller. Tom.
Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. He's a good guy. I'm gonna miss him. I'm gonna ask Nick to put him on my street. Actually, the two of us are gonna ask Nick to put him on our street. Is he actually gonna drive?
Okay, the next item I'd like to address is our Somers Police Department awards presentation. Chief Driscoll, if you would come down.
I don't know if any of our guys plan to make that.
Good evening. Tonight, I have two purposes of being here with my department. One is to let the town people see who's out there when they're sleeping. And the second thing is to recognize some of my officers who have done outstanding work during the year. Every one of them does outstanding work. Just so happens this year, these people here did a little bit more than normal. Second reason is that we do more than give out speeding summonses. So the first person I'd like to bring up is Sergeant Fulton, front and center. We went all through this before, we still get on. We're very lucky to have Sergeant Fulton on this job. He's an expert in computers. He's done so much for this department and this town. He put computers in all our cars, updated in and out with computers, saved the town at least $15,000 because we didn't have to go to outside like outside consultants like some other towns had to do. He also, and that leads to a lot of safety in our cars. When we get a call, say we get a call domestic violence, we can look and see on the computer the history of the location that we're going to. Are there guns in the house? Were there other problems? So we go with knowledge, more knowledge than going blindly. The second thing that Tom has done more than a lot of years, I've been trying to get our own radio band. It was like pulling teeth for 10 years. They told me it would cost us about $8,000. In the old days, it wasn't really that important. Nowadays, God forbid we have a bad incident in the school, we're now able to go in and everybody's on the same band. As you know, in bad incidences, the main thing that the problems that we've had all over the state and the world is communications. That usually is the first thing that falls apart. One agency doesn't know what the next is doing, and we go in there all messed up. Tom has settled that. We're able to go into all the schools, talk with the SROs in an emergency, including Kennedy School. So Tom, please accept this recognition, and thank you very much for all you do. Thank you. Sergeant Porteous, P.O. Porteous, front and center. It's the policy of this department to give out an award for an officer who makes 3 DWI arrests in a year. And this is what Officer Porteous has done. He made 2 of them on observation. People were driving in erratically, pulled them over, and they had very high content of alcohol in their body. The 3rd one was scary. There was a car on the side of the road. Officer Porteous went over to investigate. There was a gentleman passed out, car was in drive, and he had his foot on the pedal. And he was right by an embankment off 139 there. And thank God that Officer Porteous was able to take care of that situation before anyone got hurt or killed. So, Officer Porteous, please accept this with our gratitude and keep up the good work. Officer Johansson, front and center. This is one of our star officers. He's always, every time he goes out there, he gets himself in trouble. He makes a lot of good arrests. This one, he was on the road, and a lady had an 18-month-old baby in her arms, and she was screaming and waving one arm frantically. Officer Hanson went over, saw the child was unconscious, not breathing, took the child away from the mother, who was very distraught, understandably, applied ice and snow to the child, brought down a big temperature. The child was having a seizure. And he stayed with the child till EMS got there, and he brought the child around. He saved that child's life. We called the mother approximately a month after. She said that Officer Johansson saved that child's life, and the child is fine now. So we really appreciate that kind of work. He could have kept going, but I don't think he would have. He was out on the road, and he did the right thing. He kept calm in a panic situation. So we appreciate that very much. Don't go anywhere. Stay here. Sergeant Barker.
This is a good one.
A local police department is a great thing to have in towns because people will come to you, or individual officers that they know, might be their neighbor, and they'll tell them things, what's going on. And that's police work. You know, what it says on TV, that's a lot of baloney. We depend on people, the public, to tell us what's going on, and then we take action. One lady in town knew Officer Barker very well. She confided in him about somebody that was selling drugs. Got a description of the car. 2 hours later, Officer Johansson, and I can't talk too deeply into this because it's in court, Officer Johansson stopped that vehicle in Baldwin Place. But before they stopped it, he called for Sergeant Barker, and they stayed back. This is in a marked marked police vehicles, which is very hard to make drug arrests in uniform, because the bad guys, they have the advantage. They know who we are, we don't know who they are. So they stayed back, stayed out of sight, and they watched what appeared to be a drug transaction going on. And they decided what they were going to do. All of a sudden, the cars took off. Sergeant Barker went after one, Johansson went after the other, and they got these people with all kinds of drugs. And then they gave up big dope haulers, dope peddlers. I think they were from Jersey. So out of that simple arrest, they really knocked out a big-time dealer. Where's Barbara? Officer Johansson's wife Barbara's here tonight. Thank you for coming. So I would present you guys with these 2 awards, and thank you so much for the good work. Now this is Kim McGuire, Officer Kim McGuire. She's a star in this department, so lucky to have her. We have, unfortunately, our share of domestic violence in this town. And we have an organization which the supervisor knows about, he's involved in it deeply, that provides services for people who need them because of domestic violence, mostly women. They used to have to go down to White Plains to get all these services, maybe shelter, maybe counseling, maybe law. And a lot of times they couldn't get there. They just didn't have a way to get there. So Northern Westchester and the rest of the towns around have this, what do you call that? Northern Westchester risk reduction for domestic violence. Officer Kim is very heavily involved in it. It's not a 9-to-5 job. She gets calls, days off. She doesn't know it's my day off. She goes right in and she'll counsel these people, get them the help that they need, whether they need shelter, order protection, whatever they need. And a lot of times she'll even go away from the police department and meet them in to have coffee in a restaurant. And I think the work that she does there, I can't say enough for it. So that's one thing. Thank you very much for that. That's one. Yeah. And in the meantime, she still had time to do police work, other kinds of real police work. She was on patrol. She got a call, unconscious male. Again, this is in court too, something else. And she was 3 minutes away from the scene. She got there. She found a 32-year-old male unconscious on the floor. The family had tried to retrieve this person who was did have a lot of narcotics problem, was addicted to certain opiates and things. And the family had no luck of retrieving this person, and they almost gave up. The person was laying there unconscious. Officer Kim took her Narcan and kept giving him Narcan. I like to say she slapped him around. It doesn't sound that good. She smacked him and woke him up and saved his life. So Kim, again, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And we're really proud to have you. And that's us for tonight. And none of this could be done unless we had the support of that supervisor and that town board, because they give us whatever we need. We've never been refused. We get the tools to do the job, and we do it. Thank you.
Chief, I just want to say that I know you brought 5 up here today, but obviously the entire department's fantastic. I've had the opportunity to go on ride-alongs with some of them, and I've seen them in action. and they always do the town proud. They're a great group, and I've been lucky enough with Rich to be on the board to have hired quite a few of them, and we haven't made a mistake. They've all been fantastic, based on your recommendations always, but they're all fantastic, and we just want to make sure you stay safe out there.
And I, for one, will sleep very well tonight after hearing about these arrests and how you keep us safe. And in addition, I want to echo what Deputy Supervisor Garrity mentioned. Chief, you have a talent to identify the best and bring them into our town. And what we're looking at here tonight is what I consider the best in police enforcement. So thank you.
And, you know, if I could just say this, too. I know some towns around us have said, well, we're going to hire the county police and we're going to not have any town police. And I've had people in town say that to me. Well, why don't we just save some money on that? One, I don't think you save money. But two, the service of a local police department is not just for catching bad guys, you say. It's not just DWIs. It's things like domestic violence. It's things like having that town policeman who you know, you talk, you trust, and you can talk to. It's on parades and special days and seeing that friendly face. It's about knowing the kids in town who look up to the police officers, young boys and girls who want to be police officers, and that they know many of you. And the value of having a local police department, I know this supervisor, this town board, has always been 100% behind. I think, and the chief often reminds us in case we forget, it's a bargain and a good one for the town, and we support it 100%, and we're lucky to have you as a department.
Yeah, I can't say enough about this team. I think, this presentation was awesome because people just think police work is out there and you're doing all that, the aggressive stuff. I mean, I think we've learned that, workflow and coordination and modernization is part of this process. You showed that you're looking out for our safety. Your folks are training each other. The relationships with the community are awesome. They are the roots and foundation of your success. And, and like Kim McGuire, essentially you're looking out for the vulnerable, right? So we're not this aggressive police force. We're an experienced team of people that we have the benefit here in Somers. And I just want to thank you, and I think our community thanks you.
Yeah, and I'd like to thank you as well. I mean, you don't do a good job. You don't do a great job. You do a fantastic job. And it's kind of like if you were in the medical profession and you were doctors. Okay, there's good doctors who do a good job, but there's also good doctors who do a good job and have a great bedside manner. And that's what you guys have, and that's what you guys do, and that's what makes you so approachable. And being approachable lets you help in so many other additional ways that under normal circumstances would not happen. So I greatly thank you.
Chief, if it's all right with you and your officers, could we have you come back up so we can get a picture of you? Is that okay?
Yeah, a lot of guys don't like to get
Wide angle lens there, please. There you go.
camera, they run the other way.
Yeah, just face the back wall and we'll get a photo of you all.
Not to be put in any post offices, I want to assure you.
No. No, this is your picture.
You do this.
We're going to hide back here.
You're gonna hide.
Oh, Tom's world famous Facebook page.
All right, everybody? 1, 2, 3. And Neil, I'm making the back of your head famous. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks again. I moved the agenda around. I didn't know how long public comment.
Yeah, this is
Well,
fine.
you answered his
think I did. I tried to.
Come on, this meeting has a retention.
Doesn't have attention, get done quickly, huh?
Okay, we're gonna go back to, our agenda item, public comment.
Excuse me.
I'll make a motion to open public comment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. And please limit your comments to no more than 3 minutes.
Yeah.
The mic is open. The line would form to my left, your right.
Andrew, a little karaoke maybe. All right.
So is anyone here for public comment? Seeing and hearing no one, I'll make a motion to close public comment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, item number 3 under Town Board would be to adopt the 2020 preliminary budget as the 2020 adopted budget. Director of Finance, are we good to go? Okay.
Well, Bob says so.
Yes, well, he's done a
I
file.
know, I'm a little nervous. He's back there with a calculator. He's doing that right. His phone, all right.
Let's see,
I was getting a little worried there.
right.
No, that's,
Close enough, Bob says.
that's a phone. For the record, the budget has been filed, and I'll make a motion. Well, I just want to say that thank Bob Kehoe for all the time and effort. He and his staff, Carolyn, when we began the budget process years ago, our binders were like this. Carolyn's got them down to something like this. They're more readily reviewable, and we can make changes, obviously, very easily. So I want to publicly thank you for that.
You know, Rick, before you, and I've said this before, I get the opportunity to work with Bob in a couple of other areas on the risk management and all that. And I can, for one, say with the budget and with everything, Bob, who doesn't live in town, always puts Somers' thoughts first. He's always looking to save the town money. He's always looking to get the best training that we can get from our insurance company. He's a pleasure to work with. He really is. I've never seen him lose his cool. I've never seen, I mean, we joke quite a bit, but the last few years of the budget process with Bob has been a pleasure. It's gone smoothly. He always has the numbers right off the top of his head or right at his fingertips. So any of us can ask him a myriad of questions, and he can always give us the answer that we're looking for immediately. And I can't say enough good things about him in all the different areas that I work with him on. He really is great in the town of Somers. And I've told him this before, but he's really an asset to the town.
No, you're right, and a word that we've often used in various areas of town government and our hopes for people who run departments is to be proactive, is to see things before they happen and to make recommendations to the town board. Take this into account, take that into account. If you do this, then this is going to occur. If you do that, that's going to occur. And that's where I think Bob has been a real help to us, is seeing the choices and the options in front of us and not making the decision of what we should do, but telling us about the things to take into account as we make decisions, what the consequences would be. And I think that's been his greatest asset to the town.
Here, here.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll make a motion to adopt the 2020 preliminary budget as
No.
the 2020 adopted budget.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I just
So
wanna-
moved.
I just want to say the library is well run too. This is Andrew Farber is here. I thought.
Andrew, if you
Yes.
had done some karaoke, I would have said something, but you didn't, so you're out of luck.
Oh, really? Oh. Wow. Bring her next time.
But we do appreciate all you do with the library as well. I'm sure.
We
Good
love
job.
the library.
All right, we should finish in like 2 minutes.
All right, next item is authorize supervisor to execute the following: the Somers Estate subdivision letter of credit, which extends the expiration date until November 19th, 2020. So I'll make a motion to authorize the supervisor.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. Okay, under financial. Authorize the following per December 6th memo from Robert Kehoe, Director of Finance. A, adoption of the 2019 highway paving budget to be funded by the general fund, but would allow the general fund to be reimbursed from a bond/band if necessary. So this is the 2019 highway budget.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved.
Ideally, we could fund all the paving out of the budget every year. Just, we've been fortunate lately, but you have to have the option of bonding it out.
Just in case.
Not perfect, but it's the best that we can do, and I think Bob has been really good about reducing the debt for paving, as has Tommy, and so will Nick, I think, be helpful in that.
And
So-
in that regard, regarding the repaving, Tommy and Nick and team just blasted through West Somers Park seamlessly, and I thank you for that, and the residents thank you for that. You didn't even know it was going to be done, and then it was done the next day, and it was amazing. It was completely seamless.
That's great.
And that is a spectacular job. Thank
I'd
you.
like to point out again, the state has not come through Route 139.
Yeah, that is
Not a state
disappointing.
road.
That is, that's a
I
state
mean, it
road.
is a state road.
Right.
Yeah, yes, it will. I know, did they use a hot box out there? Because that right-hand lane seems a little more passable these days. They've never barred our, excuse me?
Below Reese Bar,
Yeah,
they put a little drain in there, that's to correct the icing problem. That's
Oh, right over there.
okay.
Excuse me, no comments from off camera.
Thank you for pointing that out.
Listen to the town clerk, would you?
Boom, no comments off camera.
But wait, I think that guy used to work for the town.
Okay, moving along to personnel.
Not anymore.
It's a season to be jolly.
Okay, on number 3, well, we have openings on our Affordable Housing Partners and Prevention. And what's not listed here is some of our committees, Energy and Environment.
Yeah,
That's a
please.
really good and interesting committee that I think people should be interested in. So please, if you have any interest in volunteering for the town, please give my office a call. We'd be happy to connect you with a board or a committee of your interest. Number 3, under personnel, is to authorize the promotion of Barbara Brandt, probationary, as an assessment assistant, full-time, grade 5, step 1, at an annual salary of $53,162, effective January 1, 2020. If the CSEA agreement gets approved, the annual salary will be adjusted to $55,784 per memo dated December 6th from the supervisor.
Second.
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. And this would probably be the best time than not to announce that, in fact, there has been a settlement with CSEA. We believe that the contract was voted on the other day and ratified.
Fantastic. Good job, guys.
Yeah, I want to thank
It's arduous work.
Councilman Clinchie and Finance Director Bob Kehoe. I was very active in the early years of the negotiation.
It was, yeah.
And, but I had to beg out, had other duties to attend to, but these two gentlemen stuck with it, and we finally got a settlement. We are going to begin the next contract negotiations coming up probably in January.
Could be.
So,
It was a pleasure dealing with all of them. The union was great, and as always, any settlement, by definition, is a fair settlement for both sides. Nobody ever gets everything in any negotiation, and you have to give a little bit, get a little bit. You try to find something that is fair, that to both sides, and to solve problems wherever you can, and to take a long-term look at items in the contract, whether it be on who does the work and how the work is defined, on the pay, on the benefits of it, which of course are a huge part of any contract in the United States, and you try to find a fair and equitable agreement on that. I think we've done that, and I'm glad that the union, which has negotiated in good faith all along, has agreed to it, and I think it's a good settlement, and we're proud of it.
Okay, do we need to take any action to adopt that?
You wanna wait till you have the contract? Okay, then do it.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to adopt the negotiated contract period from 2018 through,
And 2020, to December 31st, 2020. 3 years, 18, 19, 20.
okay.
Just in the nick of time.
Just a minute.
Do I have a second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. Thanks again, gentlemen. Okay, which brings us to our consensus agenda.
Pretty straightforward.
Okay, I do have an edit to item 1B. The permit number at the bottom should read TM, and then the number should be 5.17-2-69. It was inadvertently
Tom,
just
you were just
copied
telling
from
me that
above.
today, weren't you?
What's that?
Didn't you just text that to me earlier?
I did, I thought there was a number
You
missing.
thought the mistake?
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you, thanks for noticing that.
So we've rectified that, okay? That'll show in the record. All right, any questions, concerns with consensus items 1, 2, and 3?
Nope.
Okay, I'll make a motion to adopt the consensus agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Okay, so,
Do we have to post the abstract meeting?
No, we have to schedule the special meeting tonight.
yes, we do.
Okay.
So, I was going to say this is our last regular meeting, but we will have a special meeting on December 27th.
Which if it takes more than 5 minutes, is an issue, but go ahead.
Okay, and we're having that special meeting to assist our finance director in moving our finances out to our employees.
Right.
And that meeting will be convened at 9:30, I believe it is?
9:30 on the 27th.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I need a second on that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
That's confirmed.
So none of you be,
Okay,
whoever,
so,
the 3 guys coming, don't be late.
Yeah, I don't believe that'll be televised, so I would like to take this opportunity to wish Somers residents a Merry Christmas, happy holiday season, happy and healthy 2020 coming up, and a Happy New Year.
I agree.
Yes, year went fast, huh?
It did,
Yeah,
crazy.
don't they all?
That it did real fast. Okay, before I make a motion to close the meeting, I'd like to make a motion, we're going to retire to executive session, not to return to the meeting.
4.
For what?
For
Advice of counsel.
advice
Okay.
of counsel. Right.
And prior to that, just before we go, again, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year to all of Somers, and thanks for a great year. And also congratulations to Connor and Riley Westerman and Tom Garrity the Younger for
Yes.
getting their
Hear,
Eagle
hear.
Scout awards. I think Somers Boy Scouts is got one of the highest percentage of Eagle Scouts in the state, and that is an accomplishment that can't be taken away and should be recognized.
You're right.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
I think that's a direct reflection on how they were raised.
His mother is great.
Their mom.
I didn't say
I beat you
who.
to it, Rich. I beat you to it.
I didn't say who.
No, all three of their projects are over in Reese Park. Two of them are Gaga Ball pits, which I had no idea what that was, and so many of you watching won't know what it is. But the young kids do, and they love it. And the other one is picnic tables that are permanently around the basketball courts now. So they all worked hard. They actually entered Cub Scouts together back in, I guess it was first grade.
Yeah.
And they've served together almost throughout. They switched a little bit at the end, but they got their Eagle Scouts, all three within a week of each other. Wow. And yeah, we're very proud. I will say that the Westerman's father also happens to be the chair of our Parks Board, Kevin Westerman.
Magnificent.
And their mother.
Oh, and their mother is geez, that's right, is the treasurer of the library. So,
I do happen to know all three boys. They are really good kids, and they're a good reflection on their parents.
thank you.
We're happy to have them all in our community.
Yeah, you might know Tommy from DeChico's.
Yeah,
He works the registers, and everybody tells me they see him, so I know he's actually going there.
yeah. I do see him over there. Okay, any further comments, concerns,
No.
issues?
Happy New Year.
Okay. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Good night, Somers, and Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Happy Hanukkah.